friends, welcome to today's Happy Hips and Glutes stretch. We're just going to work through some spots that might be tight in your life depending on where you are at. It will be pregnancy friendly, but if you're finding that through running you're having tight hips or you've done a big workout and your glutes are sore, this would be a wonderful option for you. We're just going to start seated in a position where one foot is slightly in front of the other. Your toe can be tucked into your knee crease, your back of your knee crease, and we're gonna wobble side to side until our sits bones are firmly planted through the ground. It feels like you're grounding deep into your mat, or perhaps you're lucky enough to be outside and you're grounding into the actual earth. We're gonna start just by bringing our shoulders up towards our ears. Big breath in and relax. Big breath out. Up towards the ears, big breath in. And relax, big breath out. Now we're going to send our shoulders forward, rounding through the back. Big breath in and relax, big breath out. Round those shoulders forward. And relax them back to center. Now we're going to pull the top of our head up while we push those shoulders down towards the ground. Big breath in. And relax, breath out. One more time. Big breath in. And breath out. And last way, we're going to send those shoulders back towards each other, imagining our shoulder blades will touch each other at the back. Big breath in. And release, big breath out. One more time, big breath in. And breath out. Perfect. All right. Now we're just going to plant one hand on our mat and bring our other arm across over our head, stretching through the side, starting to stretch in a little bit in the side of the hip through the glute, possibly. All right. We're going to focus on those big breath in, big breath outs. And also at any time, if it feels good for you, you can soften your gaze or close your eyes. Over to the other side, planting the right hand down and stretching the left hand over. Beautiful. Now we're going to send both hands up to the sky, and we're going to attempt to plant the hands on the ground, on the floor ahead of us, while keeping our sits bones attached to the ground. If you're in this position and you're finding you can't get your hands onto the ground at the same time as your sits bones are on the ground, you can grab a pillow or some blocks or a rolled up blanket, whatever works for you to get the position feeling so that you're stretching through your lower back and just the tops of your hips there. If you're able to, you can also get your elbows down on the ground, but the goal is just to feel the lengthening stretch in your lower back. Depending on where you're at, again, you might feel like your breathing is a little bit constricted here. That's okay. Just think about breathing as deeply as you're able. And now we're going to walk our hands over to one side, deepening the stretch. And to side two. Walking those hands gently and slowly. We're not in a rush here. When you walk your hands over to the side and you deepen the stretch, you're going to feel it deeper through the outside of one hip. Back to center. Beautiful. Now we're going to push ourselves back up. Wonderful. Great. Now we're going to just stretch out the outer leg. We're going to take that leg straight and just bring our hands up and over like a rainbow towards the toes. You might reach the toe You might reach the knee, the shin, the pant leg. It's all good. Again, focusing on having nice long stretches, deep stretches, not so much on what your body looks like here, or being at the fullest extent of the pose. Beautiful. Now we're going to take the toe that's outstretched, bring that one in close, take the other one out just outside. So we've switched what side is on the outside. We're going to send those hands up to the sky again and just bring them towards the ground. If they're not able to touch the ground, I hope you do find a pillow to sit on or blocks or whatever works for you. All right, and if you're able to, you can get those elbows down on the ground as well. If you find you have a million things going through your mind right now, then this is probably what you need. Time to slow down, time to breathe in and out, time to focus on your breath. Meditate if that's what you believe in. We're going to walk those hands over to one side. Trying to fill up that belly with your breath. Deep breaths in through the nose and out through the nose or mouth. And then walking those hands gently, slowly over to the other side. And back to center. Perfect. Wonderful. All right, we're going to pull ourselves up. We're going to lean back just a little here. Plant our feet on the ground. And we're going to cross one knee over the other. All right, just like we're chilling out at the beach, talking to some friends. And then we're going to push our knee that's crossed right here, this part of the knee, over down towards the ground in front of us. You want to be feeling this through your glute. If you can't feel it in your glute, you can tuck your foot that's down on the ground closer to your glute, and that will increase the angle, which will then increase that stretch. Keeping a proud chest here, pushing the chest towards the ceiling or the sky if you're lucky to be outside. If it's a nice, warm, sunny day, and now we'll plant that foot and bring the other one up, over and across. Here we go, and sending that knee down towards the ground. Again, keeping the proud chest, keeping the breaths nice and deep, softening the gaze if that feels good for you. If you've got a toddler in the room, you might need to keep your eyes open. And again, you just want to feel this on the outside of your glutes. If your hands are going numb, if you've got some water retention going on in those wrists, you can make fists with your hands instead, and that might help you out there, rather than putting all of the pressure straight onto your wrists. And 3, 2, 1, release. Perfect. All right, now we're going to come over into tabletop position. Now in tabletop position, anybody who is having water retention or wrist issues of any sort might notice that it's helpful to have some dumbbells or some yoga blocks to hold on to as you're wrists might not be as happy as they normally are. While we're here, we're going to just do some cat-cows. So getting our knees underneath our hips, bringing our belly low to the ground, hips up high and looking forward, deep breath in. And then breathing out, rounding our backs up to the sky, letting our head hang low, our hips rounded through, tucking that belly in. And then as you breathe in, looking forward again. You can do this at your own pace. We're going to do a few rounds of it. You might also notice that it feels really good to sway side to side, stretching out through the side of the hips. One more cat-cow here. Breath in and breath out. And now we're going to come into neutral back position. All right, and we're just going to actually push through those hips. So pushing through the hip on one side here, you're really going to feel that outer muscle lengthen. It should feel good. It should not hurt. You don't want it to hurt. If it hurts, come back to neutral, but if it feels good, stay there. And now to the other side. Back to center. Perfect. Now we're going to tuck our toes together. Send our knees as wide as your yoga mat or as wide as feels good, and send your hips low and back towards your heels, all right? You want to be as low as those heels can go. So you're sending those hips low and back, letting your belly rest between your legs. And then if it feels good for you, you can come down onto your elbows or onto your forehead, anywhere that feels like you're stretching through the hips, through the glutes, lower back, even the shoulders a little bit. And again, really focusing on that breath. Great work. Now we're going to come back up into tabletop position. And then if you're able to, we're going to get into downward dog here. My wrists are something else right now, so I'm going to keep holding onto the dumbbells, but you don't have to if that's not where you're at. All right, we're going to tuck our toes under, send our hips up high and back, stretch through one calf, bringing the heel towards the ground, and then the other. And we're going to come into a pigeon pose. So when you're ready, you can scoop one foot up high and back, do a couple little ankle twirls, and then bring it under your body, cross and over. All right, the goal here is to have your foot across your body. People would like to think it's going to go across at 90 degrees. I'm happy if it crosses at all. All right, and then we're going to rest our body down on the mat to where it's comfortable. Again, you're going to feel this one in the glutes, possibly also the hamstrings here. But you just want to release any tension that you have going on in your hips and glutes. Sending that back foot straight back. And when you're ready, we're going to pop back up into downward dog. Bringing one foot towards the ground and then the other. And now we'll cross our other foot up with some ankle twirls, and then bring it under and cross it over our body for a pigeon on side 2. You can relax on those elbows if it feels good. You can come up like so, or if you're able to, depending on where you're at in your life, you might be able to come right down with your forehead on the ground. In this pose, you really don't want to have a rounded back because that will lose some of the deep stretch that you want to be getting in your glute here. But as long as you have a fairly flat back and you can feel it in your glute, that'll be your goal. And when you're done with that, we're going to roll back up to a seated position. Oh, adjust as required. There we go. We put our soles of our feet together. You can grab your toes if that's all right with you. And bring your knees towards the ground. Stretch through that lower back. Bring your proud chest towards the sky. And that concludes today's stretch. Thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope your hips and glutes feel like they are released and lengthened and stretched and all of the good juicy things. And I hope you have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.